Okay, it's still in the middle of January. I think it's 23rd today or something like that. So, but I need to plant some tomatoes this year. And it's obviously too early to plant tomatoes in January, even in the greenhouse here, because it still freezes occasionally overnight. And tomatoes, they just a little freeze and they're dead. They certainly won't germinate in that kind of temperature. But I gotta have some seeds. Now I could go down to the store and get some, but most of my tomatoes, well, all of them, are heirloom tomatoes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some leftover tomatoes that have wintered over. Now the tomatoes are, they're kind of rotten or stale or yucky looking. But I'm going to get those tomatoes and I'm going to save the seeds out of them. And it'll only take maybe, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, maybe a week to get the seeds out of them, get them dried out, and restart them inside where I can, put some heat on them so that they'll germinate. But let me show you what I mean here. Okay, let's see. Now you see, these cherry tomatoes, they were really, really good. Especially these larger ones. Now I'm not sure what kind they are. I'm only quite sure that they were heirloom type. Now heirloom means they weren't hybrid. So if I get the seeds out of these, I should get the same plant back again. So I'll get a couple of these. And these are leftovers. Like I say, they wintered over. And they might even be edible. I don't know, but I don't want to try it because they're probably very nasty. But let me go down in here. And there's another one. There's another couple down in there that, yeah, now you can see that one's kind of getting some mold on the top. Now I'll put these aside over here so that I can work on getting the seeds out of them. But, okay. So now we'll come around to the front, and I've already saved a couple over here. Now, we'll come around to the front. Now, I've got some Brandywine tomatoes in here that I want to get. Brandywines are my favorite. Now, here's some smaller ones. Now, you can see that I'm not going to eat these, but the seeds are still in there, and they're still good. So let me grab those, and I'll put them aside. And let's see. We'll get this one here. And Brandywines are very sweet, and they're usually quite large tomatoes. And I use them for making salsa, and you can slice them. Let's see if I can find another couple of good candidates here before I tear all of this stuff out of here and throw it away. Let's see here. Well, I don't see any more good candidates. There's some more. Probably got enough of these already, but what the heck. Well, I don't see any that have wintered over. Yeah, here's maybe this one's. Well, they're green. They might not have formed the seeds properly yet. Well, I think that's enough. This will give me quite a few seeds. So I'll maybe look around for a few more. Here's another one up here. I'm pretty sure that's a Brandywine. As you can see, that's not something we're going to eat. Okay, so we'll start getting the seeds out of those, and I'll show you how we'll do that. Well, it is the 25th of January today, and I'm going to start working on tomatoes. Now, obviously, the latter part of January is way too early to be messing with tomatoes, but it's not too early to prepare. So what I'm going to try to do today is I'm going to show you how to save some seeds. If you remember from a video a little bit ago, I saved some tomatoes that were off of these vines that I was working on clearing out, and we're going to show you how to save the seeds today. Let me show you. Now, if you remember, I had some cherry tomatoes here that were a little larger than the other cherry tomatoes, and I wanted to save these both. And these were both heirloom type, which means they're not hybrids. So the seeds that are in these would be the same. If you planted them, you'd get the same plant, same tomatoes. So I've got these, and these tasted really good. And then I've got these. They're a different kind. I think these were Sweet 100s, if I remember right. And then we got these. These are Brandywine. Now, obviously, these are way past eating, and these were from overwintered tomatoes. So what we're going to do is save the seeds, and I'm going to show you how here. All right, so I've got some containers here, and I've got the tomatoes. And what you do with these, and I've got a fork that my wife let me use.
because I was going to do this in the kitchen, but that was a no-go because this is kind of messy and nasty. But anyway, what you do is we'll do the first ones here. Oh boy. See how that broke up? Let me show you. Look at this. See, that tomato broke up, and you see there's the seeds in there. I don't know if you can see it, but there they are, see? Anyway, okay. So what you do, oh, there's a bunch of seeds here too. Just throw them in there, don't lose any. Okay. So what you do, it's really quite simple, is you take these seeds, you take these tomatoes, and you squish them up. And let's see here. I hope you can see that, but what I'm doing is stabbing them and squishing them. It would work a lot better, probably, if you had like a blender or something. But you know, that wasn't a go in the kitchen with these. My wife didn't want me to use her blender for that. But this will work. It's still, you don't really need to do a real good job with this. What you need to do is just break it up so that the seeds kind of are loose. Again, the idea is to try to free up the seeds so that they're just out there. You don't need to get them all free, because what we're going to do is we're going to fill this with water, and then we're just going to let it rot. So there we go. There's one. Okay. Now I'm going to go fill that up with water, and I'll be right back. Now there we go. Okay. Now let me grab the camera. And as you can see, there's just a bunch of tomatoes that are sitting in there, and they're just kind of squished up. And what we're going to do is, because I've squished them up a little bit, we're going to set these in a warm place and let them rot. And that's the whole idea. And what will happen is, as they rot, see, this tomato flesh here will kind of rot away, and it'll turn into something like that. And you let that rot away, and it takes about a week, maybe a couple of days. We'll see. But it's a warm place, you let them rot, and then what happens is the seeds that are good will float to the bottom. Well, not float, they'll fall to the bottom. And the seeds that are bad, which there shouldn't be very many of them, they'll float on the top. So the idea is, when you're done, you'll skim the water off the top, and you got seeds in there, and then you just collect the seeds and let them dry out. So that's what we're going to do. Now I'll do it with the other two batches here, and then we'll go put them away where it's a nice warm spot for a few days. Okay, so there we are. They're sitting in there now, all three of them. I didn't label them, so I better so I remember which ones I've got. These, of course, are the small cherry tomatoes. These are the bigger ones, and these are Brandywine. And okay, so what I'm going to do now is I've got some covers. I'll put these covers on top just so the water doesn't evaporate too much. And I'm going to have to put this one upside down because that's a tight fit. And we'll cover this one. Okay, now hopefully that'll get like 85 degrees or something like that in here. We'll have to see. I've got it set for up there. I'll let this settle out for a little while, and then we'll see if we need to adjust the thermometer. Okay, close it up. Now, one thing I wanted to show you, it's not really that hard to do this. Let me show you this. Now, you see, here's one of those cherry tomatoes. It's a little soggy, but watch. If I just squeeze this, see how the tomato seeds kind of run out of it. See, they're not that hard. You can see seeds laying there. Or even try this one here. Let's see if this one pops the right way. Sometimes, there you go. See, look at that. You can get gobs of seeds out of these things, and all you got to do basically is let that ferment down. And here's another one. Let's see if I can do this without exploding it. There we go. Let's see, there we go. See, what comes out of these is gobs of seeds. So the idea is to get that gelatinous junk off of them, and the way you do that is let them ferment. And even these, if you let them sit here, if it was warm in here so that these would evaporate, you let them sit there, you could plant these later on, and they'd be just fine.